Okay, my guest is having a good laugh because I don't think wedding albums look like this anymore. This month, Richard and I celebrated 20 wonderful years as husband and wife, and that's enough of that. I agree, marriage is like vitamins. We supplement each other's daily requirements. At least that's the plan. Sadly, 1/3 of men and 2/3 of women who admitted to having an affair expressed marital dissatisfaction. I was shocked to read how subtly the bond is eroded and how easily a married person can find him or herself vulnerable to a close call or an affair. Today, we're going to look at marriage patterns that are especially going to make you especially susceptible to that close call or affair. Dave, you've highlighted so many examples in stories that were volunteered. Couples who want us to know.
Yeah, that's right, who want to share their story to protect other couples.
You stayed in this for over 3 decades. So you must be seeing that there is hope, even out of devastation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't stay in this if there wasn't some outcome, a number of outcomes. Most of the outcomes were very positive. Some couples just can't save the relationship because it's been so bad for so long. But most of them can, and like you said, most of them just kind of found themselves in this. They were not looking, they're not predators, this is their first experience at it, they just succumbed.
I wonder what response we would get if we asked, is your marriage relationship a windshield wiper, dial tone, or empty nest? Now, empty nest doesn't sound threatening. Most of us
go through an empty nest.
Parents will face that.
But that's a stressful time in a marriage because it's a time when a couple has to reorient their relationship. They have to change the primary focus. The children aren't there, and they have to kind of enjoy each other, like each other. There's a number of years usually before grandkids come along, and it's a good time for them to reconnect. Now, in fact, we know from surveys done on marital satisfaction, in fact, I just read another one just in the last couple of weeks, that the couples who report or return to high-level marital satisfaction after the last child leaves home has a history of creating spikes in their history across their marriage that are very much like that three-legged stool we talked about a couple of days ago. So if a couple...
Now that three-legged stool, let's just remind folks.
Childhood magic, adolescent sexuality, and adult mobility. Can we kind of define those? I'll be glad to...
It's keeping your marriage alive.
Oh,
Go ahead.
It is.
Just flesh it out a little.
It's the same thing that an affair consists of. So if you create a long history, not necessarily a long time, but a long history over your marital lifespan, where you have little 24-hour periods, 48-hour periods, 4-hour periods that involve those 3 components, childhood magic, adolescent sexuality, and adult mobility. You have that kind of history, you will return to high-level marital satisfaction as soon as the kids scoot out the door.
Essentially, you're recreating the dating experience.
You are. You're creating infatuation. You're creating memories. You're creating your story. You're creating things you can fall back on when things get tough or times get tough. And they do. They get tough for all of us. You know, life is difficult. I believe that. So those are the periods where you escape and you have fun with each other and you kiss the world goodbye.
And that graph, one of them shows exactly what you're saying, that marital satisfaction. The kids leave and, ooh, party for 2.
But there are other marriages that go right into divorce and continue in their decline because they don't have that kind of history. They don't have much to fall back on. That's that empty nest marriage because they have made the focus of their marriage raising good kids. And the tragic thing is, in raising those good kids, and they usually do, those kids can't figure out why mom and dad are getting divorced. I thought we had the perfect family. And I thought everything was just great. Actually, what those kids have learned in that kind of a marriage is how to have a bad marriage. Because mom and dad never spent any time with each other. Mom and dad never left the kids with a babysitter or relatives or whatever the case is. They never saw mom and dad crazy about each other. They only saw mom and dad crazy about the kids.
Ooh, beware the child-centered home. And maybe the takeaway thought yesterday was what story are you writing
Exactly.
in your relationship, in your marriage? And it sounds radical, but essential, that when you take those times apart, you have to get back to that headspace where you don't have the responsibility of children.
That's right.
And whatever it takes to create that,
That's right.
it's just all here-ness for each
And you
other.
tell the kids to not call you.
Or the babysitter to call you home early.
That's right. Yeah. Because
both.
so often the ties are so strong that mom and dad don't really have much time alone. Even when they go off and try to plan it, they're tracked, so to speak.
And you know, some people think that has to be an expensive option. A friend of mine, I mean, it wouldn't work as well for me, but a friend of mine ships the kids out to relatives, and mom and dad just enjoy their home alone.
Exactly.
That's the hotel.
And it's the co-op thing you can do with somebody. Maybe she can pick up your kids at school, and you can have an afternoon free with a brought-in dinner, just for the two of you, okay?
I'm going to make it even simpler. When we were new parents, we finally found a babysitter, no extended family nearby, which is difficult.
It is.
When you got little children, you don't know who you can trust. We finally found someone we could leave Catherine with for, I think it was 45 minutes. I'm not kidding. We walked to a coffee shop. We agreed not to talk about parenting and just focused on each other. I felt as if we'd been to Europe or something.
Really.
It was 40 minutes at the local coffee shop.
Yeah.
That's how much we need that.
Oh, we do.
And I remember earlier in the relationship, my husband's getting kind of excited, and we were just going for coffee. I said, "You seem all excited." He said, "Well, this is a date."
Yeah. We stopped doing that kind of stuff.
We need to do it.
It's like a drink of cold water on a hot day, you know. It's just so, doesn't that be a lot? It's just so refreshing, you know.
Emptynest, we could spend the whole time here, but we can't, because what about windshield wiper?
Well, the windshield wiper syndrome is that a couple, what we call, they just don't get close. They're intimacy avoidant. They just kind of move like this across the glass, same distance.
They're sort of content with this.
Oh yeah, but they're very good at what they're doing. And just like windshield wipers, they clean the glass, they're very effective, but they don't move towards each other. And they often keep each other at a certain distance by criticism or teasing and then say they're not, or they're needling, or they're putting different kind of requirements, or they're raising the bar, or they're disappointed. So they're never quite happy with each other where they move towards each other.
Do they not want intimacy?